Yes, greetings, family. Greetings in the name of His and Her Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, Empress Reserve Menin. Yes, family. One perfect balance. Yeah, pardon the delay, but we here. And, I just gonna hit the ground running because it only make no sense even delaying any longer. But I give thanks for those who had the patience to rally through. Working on some software compatibility, getting there. But it's good though. It's good. It's good. Steve, I see you. I see you. Andrea for sure. Art in Motion, Rastafari, blessings to you too. So much is going on. So much needs to be said. And tonight, I just want to touch some real issues briefly. I say briefly because don't make no sense getting a long conversation about it. Everybody turning for the weekend, all day, everybody asks me about this Ukraine thing, this Ukraine, and what it mean. I see paper talking about gas prices, paper talking about light bill going up, supermarket talking about food prices going up, the gas station talking about pumps going up, everything going up, but your salary. So what is the root of all evil, family? What is the root of all evil? Somebody please tell me. What is the root of all evil, man? What could it be? What could it be? What could possibly be the root of all evil? Yeah, I hear doing a multi-screen thing, so I'm working on it. Maybe I should pull it over in this one. I might do that. Let me see if I can do that. Can I do that? I probably can. Should I? Yeah, try to do a thing. I trying a little magic. I can't say magic. A little skill set. Trying some skill sets. Let me see if it works. Let me see if it works. Um, so far it looking good. So far it looking good. Nope, not looking good. Not looking good. No, I can't do that. It not letting me do it. Not letting me do it. What if I do this? What would happen? Oh yeah, got it now. See? Man over machine, man. Never let the machine defeat you, family. Never give in to the machine. Never. All right, so there we go. So that's what's up right there. All right. So be clear. Once we clear on this. All right. I trust that everybody had a wonderful weekend. I don't want to say much about that, but I trust that everybody had a dynamic weekend and things went according to the plans you would have had in mind, or at least had set out, to say the least, if nothing else. All right, put that right there. Good. I'll put this right here. Yeah, try to make it all fit together, make it work. But so much happened. So much happened. ISIS, I see you, Bertram. Love of money and power. Somebody told me that they finally watched the movie called Wag the Dog. I mean, I got a few messages from folks who said, yo, man, that right there. I even see people putting up videos about different events going on that side of the globe, kind of similar to the events of the movie Wag the Dog. So what does that mean? What does that really mean? Is there really a war going on? I'm not in Ukraine. I don't know. What we do know, however, is that regardless of whether there's actual war or not, we know that it is staged, like all wars are pretty much staged. They're all in it together. They've been in it together for the same objective. It's funny how they seem to get along always, always when it comes to us being the target. But somehow we seem to think that when they start to squabble amongst themselves, that has nothing to do with us. It really has nothing to do with us directly, but it has everything to do with us indirectly. Because believe it or not, I guarantee you, as always, Africans or descendants of indigenous people will definitely be the ones who got to step up and bear the brunt of the situation. Time and time again. I even heard a video, somebody said that the people who are in Ukraine who are African and trying to get out are not being allowed to do so. Now, I thought that was interesting because I was saying to myself, but wait a minute. You got a whole group of people in Ukraine that are of African descent, indigenous people, and Ukrainians are showing their true colors, apparently, or are showing colors, regardless whether they're true or not, is irrelevant, according to the story that we are being told. Well, let me see. Russia invading Ukraine. I'm here, the student working or whatever. They give me hell of a time right now. Well, I think the best thing to do would be cross the border. I'm just saying. So if the students in Ukraine trying to get out of Ukraine, I don't know where they're trying to go. But if anything, head to Russia. Ukraine is not invading Russia. Russia good, according to the narrative. Russia is good. There's nothing going on in Russia, according to the story. There's things going on in Ukraine. So if Ukrainians are acting out of character and putting the Africans, in a position that they, perhaps don't want to be in, well, might I suggest you go across to Russia, holler at your boy Putin, and see if he's gonna put you up. I'm just saying it can't be no worse what's going on in Ukraine. But Ukraine dealing with it, Ukraine are the Slavs, and the Slavs are the original slaves. You see, this is the part of the story that they left out. The Slavs are the slaves. So what does that mean? The Slavs are the slaves. Well, there's a lot of the story that we don't know. Do you know the irony is that the same two names of these individuals, you know what? Spoiler alert. I ain't even going to tell you. I ain't even going to tell you yet. Let me just go and drop this little tune real quick, briefly, and we're going to jump right into it. Make sure you go tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And in the meantime, somebody give me a mic check. Let me know how it's coming through. If it's clear, how it sound, it's good to go. Give me an idea what happening. Let's go and drop this tune real quick. And let me see what happening here, man. Let me just.
If life was a thing that money could buy, the rich would live and the poor would die.
Give me a sound check, family.
But life is given to every man equal share through the almighty hand. Rastafari. When I look at all the things money can buy, I see the rich man live and watch the poor man cry.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
I look up to the sky and I ask Jah why. These are the words that Jah replied. The love of money is the root of all evil. If not a direct think with the devil. I said the love of money is the root of all evil. Yeah, if not a direct link with the devil. I said, well, I am when them dead, nothing no left. Yeah. When I look at the poor people in the street, rumbling through the garbage to find food to eat, yeah. I said, I look to the sky and I ask Jah why, yeah. These are the words that Jah replied. He said, the love of money is the root of all evil.
The love of money, people, the love of money.
Direct link with the devil. Yeah, the love of money is the root of all evil.
The love of money, family.
A direct link with the devil. Goodbye. I am at when them take nothing no left. Yeah, just say yeah.
Yes, man. Money is the root of all evil, family. Remember that. That's what's going on, man. And quite frankly, not money, the love of money. So don't get it twisted, man. It's be the love of money, the things that people would do for the paper. You know what I mean? That's be the issue right there. That's where the problem comes in. So what's happening right now in the Ukraine, man? I'm just going to drop a clip real quick. I want y'all to go and check this link out. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to play a part of it. And I definitely want y'all to go check it out. I mean, maybe about 2 minutes into this thing. But this is on that website. We on. And I want y'all to check this out real quick. Go grab a pen real quick, or at least screenshot. Write this down, or at least check it out on the YouTube at the same time. And Watch the entire clip. It's very informative. And rather than go over the information, I'll just put you all into this link right now, real quick. So let me go and share this screen real quick. The love of all the evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. What's really going on? Check this out, family. And make sure you can see this thing as clear as possible, man. And
will Russia go to war with Ukraine? All week, you've heard numerous answers to this question. In Ukraine, 71% of the people believe their country is already at war with Russia. This is a complex crisis, and all the answers are hidden in history. Did you know there was a time when Kiev was more powerful than Moscow? There was also a time when Ukraine and America were adversaries. Tonight, we'll bring you all these stories. We will tell you why Russian President Vladimir Putin is obsessed with Ukraine. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay, and this is Gravitas Plus. We begin in the 9th century. There was a state called Kievian Rus. This is where it was located. The
hang on a second. There you go. We're going back to the 9th century, family. If we don't put this in its proper perspective, then we miss the whole point. You see, going back to the 9th century, the 9th century, the 9th century. I want y'all to pay attention to this thing here deep. We thinking that what's going on now is brand new. But let me show you the connection, how far back this thing goes. Back to the 9th century. Now, bear in mind, most people in the Caribbean, and I gotta say Caribbean because we're not really taught his story. We're not even told our legacy. We are told that, well, you know, the Caribbean was discovered in 1492. Some guy named Columbus came. He brought some people, brought some militiamen, killed people, put a flag in the name of King George, whatever, and they took it. What they never tell you, though, is how we got to that point. What happened before that? What led up to all that, technically. But this is taking you back to the 9th century Russia, when it was a whole different thing, a whole different place. Bear in mind, Rome ruled up until a point. The nations of Rome. Remember, Constantine ruled in the 3rd century. You see what I'm saying? So, and the 7th, 8th, and 6th, 7th, and 8th, actually, Islam was running across the peninsula. And at this point, we're talking about Russia, what we now know today as Russia. Listen to this real carefully. Pay attention to this. This is crucial information, putting things in its proper perspective. That's why we need to pay attention to what's really going on in our reality and what is our plan for the future.
There was a state called Kievian Rus. This is where it was located. The Slavic people lived here. The city of Kiev was their capital. Between 980 and 1015, the Kievan Rus was ruled by Grand Prince Volodymyr. In Russian, his name is Vladimir. In Ukrainian, Volodymyr. And as fate would have it, these are also the names of the presidents of these two countries today.
Yo, y'all get that? Yo, wait, hold up. Y'all heard what she said? As fate would have it, the same two names of the leaders back in the 9th century, 9, is the same two names of the two individuals allegedly going to war now. Pay attention, family. Pay attention. There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing.
Anyway, Russians, Ukrainians, and Belarusians draw their lineage from this Slavic state. A lot changed in the centuries that followed, and for a lot of it, Ukraine was under Russian rule. In the 1900s, the two were Soviet republics. Russia, the most powerful of the 15 republics, and Ukraine, the second most powerful. It had defense industries, large agricultural lands, and housed much of the Soviet nuclear arsenal. During the Cold War, Ukraine was the arch rival of the United States. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. Ukraine became independent, as did Russia. Ukraine inherited much of Soviet nuclear arsenal, but gave it up to Russia in 1994. In exchange, Moscow guaranteed Ukraine's security and promised to respect its sovereignty. They signed the Budapest Memorandum along with these countries. Cut to November 2013, Viktor Yanukovych was the president of Ukraine. He had a reputation for heavy-handedness, corruption, and above all, for being openly pro-Moscow. In 2013, he rejected an EU trade deal. This deal could have meant greater integration with the European Union. Instead, Yanukovych decided to take a $15 billion bailout from Russia. To many Ukrainians, it felt like being sold to Moscow. So protests broke out. They were called Euromaidan. Euro because these protests were about Europe, and Maidan because they happened in Kiev's Maidan, what we today know as the Independence Square. Here, protesters chanted, "Sign the EU deal, Yanukovych must step down." Russia supported the president, the West supported the protesters. In February 2014, Yanukovych's government was toppled, the president was driven out of Ukraine, he fled to Russia. Not every Ukrainian was happy with this. Many in
Yo, wait, hold up. Y'all just got that, right? Y'all didn't miss that point, right? Y'all didn't miss that. They had a coup. The Western world supported the people to topple the government at the time in Ukraine. Get that? That's crazy, right? Imagine that. They supported the people to get rid of this man and chase him back to Russia. So guess what? This sounds like some old beef coming back. Because not like she said, not everybody was happy with that. Because as usual, when they come in with their democracy, all hell breaks loose. But I won't go too deep into that. What I would like, matter of fact, let me play the last piece. I want y'all to listen to this carefully. Let me play this last piece.
In the Russian-speaking East, wanted Yanukovych to stay. When he was driven out, the minority felt disenfranchised. On the other side of the border, Russia was angry it had lost its puppet. To salvage the situation, Moscow annexed Crimea. Why Crimea? Well, let's now zoom into this part of the world. Crimea is a peninsula. It is located in the Black Sea. In 1954, Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev transferred Crimea. It was given to the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic from the Russian Soviet Socialist Republic. Why? Khrushchev hoped the transfer would strengthen, quote-unquote, brotherly ties between the Ukrainian and Russian people. Both Russia and Crimea were part of the Soviet Union. So this transfer did not mean very much. When Ukraine became independent in 1991, Crimea joined it. The peninsula was given special autonomy. It remained home to Russian military bases. Moscow promised to respect Crimean autonomy. Many in Russia were of the opinion that Crimea should not have been allowed to join Ukraine. In 2014, when Yanukovych was ousted from power in Ukraine, Russian military began seizing government buildings in Crimea. So the entire peninsula was under military occupation.
Okay. I'm going to break it off right there. Military occupation is where they left off in Crimea. You see, when you hear the word, the name Crimea, don't that sound kind of similar to the word crime? Crimea, crime, criminal. So when you hear the word criminal, you were a criminal. It meant, in a sense, you were from Crimea because Crimeans commit crime. Deep, but that's another conversation. That's why we were never criminals. We were never criminals. We thought we were criminals. We're not criminals. We made unwise decisions in a system and a game that we don't even fully get the rules. That's why you look at all these. As a matter of fact, I think it was David Rockefeller who said, behind every successful fortune, there is a successful crime. And you want to know how comes we still on the treadmill, right? Running on this treadmill. But anyhow, a lot of that is connected. But like I said, it left off in military occupation. Basically, what's been going on is that it's a stronghold for Russia. It's been a stronghold for Russia. And basically, the West basically came in and took over for their own agenda. Naturally, Russia have a problem with the West sitting at their back door. And that's why, from another news report now, they said that there are Russian planes in Venezuela. Now, I don't have that clip to hand, but there's a clip in the news talking about Russian planes, bombers actually, that are huge bombers that are sitting in Venezuela A Strip, doing that, and what they call it, an exercise. That's what they call it, an exercise. It's so funny. 9/11, they had an exercise, it blew up. England, train, exercise, the place blew up. Somewhere else and forgot what it was, another part of England, exercise, same thing. And Texas, the bombs, the embassy, what it was, exercise, it blew up. It's funny how they have these exercises and somehow things seem to mimic exactly what's going on. So are they going to blow up the world with some nuclear powers, living there underground bunkers and wait till the smoke blow over to come out and see who's left to salvage stuff? Right now, your guess is as good as mine. What I will tell you, however, is that regardless to what that plan is, one of the things we have to do as a people is make sure that we devise a plan for our family and our associates, friends, and people in our circle. Because the reality, the fact is, regardless of what they're doing, let us not spend all day long watching CNN and BBC trying to. I mean, I think somebody was telling me today, we need to pray for Ukraine. I'm thinking, like, don't even start me on that. Like, I don't, and I'm not even trying to sound cold, like I have no empathy towards what's going on in Ukraine. I ain't gonna tell a lie. I don't know what's going on in Ukraine. I really don't know. I remember standing in prison on September the 11th, 2001. As a matter of fact, I was in class. We were doing an exam, and we were doing architectural exams. That was my thing. And I was in class, all trying to finish this thing, and they called us back to, we had to go lock in or whatever. And they got back, and I was like, well, what happened? And they were talking about this thing on the news. We stopped by, everybody just gathered and watched the television, like, yo, this happening for real? And they saw planes, and they told Al Qaeda, and they bombing, and the buildings came down, and it's like everybody in disbelief. And then you heard a name by a man called Michael Moore. I don't know if y'all ever heard of Michael Moore, but I'm sure most of y'all who are watching this, everything the so-called conspiracy theorists would have been accused of having a conspiracy about has proven to be not a conspiracy. So most of y'all know who's Michael Moore. If you don't know who's Michael Moore, it's funny because his last name is Moore, which is only one way he could have gotten that. Anyhow, Michael Moore, go look up Michael Moore 9/11. He came out with a narrative shortly after that outlined a few discrepancies in what we were being told on the television, and showed some footage that he had accumulated from people that kind of told a different story of what happened in 9/11. As a matter of fact, if you get a chance, go Google Building 7 9/11, because remember, there were 2 planes and 3 buildings came down, although they only talk about 2. It's funny because there were 2 planes and 3 buildings imploded exactly the same way on itself, 2 side by side and one across, like way across. So there's no explanation for that. As a matter of fact, within the actual report, what they said happened to that is basically they don't know. They haven't put anything as a report for what happened to Building 7. Go Google Building 7 if you get a chance and see what I'm talking about. And I'm saying that to say, wag the dog. You see, we don't know. All we know is what the media told us. Coronavirus, media. Vaccines, media. Death toll, media. People dropping down like flies in China, media. Although I've not seen any. I see people drop down after they took the vaccine, the injection X. I didn't see anybody drop down before, which is funny because you see a lot of pro athletes on the football field. I mean, you see people all over, politicians at the podium. You see people all over that's in prominent positions, seemingly. It must have been a thought. How comes all of a sudden, certain people dropping down and dying of heart attacks suddenly? I mean, how come? It seems strange because that wasn't going on before. And it's funny because these are all folks who would have been vaccinated. Is there correlation between the two? I mean, we could speculate all day. We could do that, but follow the science. What does the science say? The science says they don't have no evidence because this is now the experiment. We don't know what the outcome is going to be. So they are now gathering information. Now that's science. So what I'm saying to say is, I don't know what's going on in Ukraine. I don't know if they're locking out Black people. I don't know if they're really bombs going off. I see one lady in the front page of the paper. Her face is everywhere as if she's the only victim in Ukraine, which is funny because bombs, according to what they tell us, going off all over, then, you probably would see more. This is the funniest thing about this war. I've seen a few clips of this war. I like the last one I got where you hear gunshots going off, and I'm seeing people walking with children and bags that they're trying to escape, but they walking. You hearing gunshots. I even see a bomb go off in the background, and it looks like a scarecrow, or what appeared to be a man that looks like a scarecrow, gets tossed up in the air. I mean, this thing is becoming so comical. What had me though is a guy with a camera, and it's like a still. He not even moving. Like he's transfixed, like stuck. So everything is passing him. He isn't moving, looking around, nothing. And I'm saying this is the first war that's being recorded on social media. You know, people uploading planes and bombs right next to them. Like, family, all I'm saying, right, family, is that let us pay attention, because we know how this thing is going to unfold. We here in the Caribbean, for those of us who paying attention, we understand we need to organize ourselves, make sure we have things going on, because if there is going to, if this is the plan to have this thing escalate like a big stage show, you know, planes in South America going to start flying over the Caribbean, going towards America. And that's perhaps why they, you know, they're bigging up Barbados as one of the countries in the Ukraine negotiation, which is funny because what do we have to tell Ukraine and Russia that would help them come to some amicable resolution? I mean, what, be offering them some free sand or free tourist trips for 6 months or something? Like Putin gets to stay at the Ukraine for a little while? I don't know. You know, we give him a tour of Harrison Cave. I'm trying to figure out, but maybe because Barbados will be used as a strategic military base for the Western world in the event that Russia should try to occupy space in South America, which clearly he has relationships with countries in the Caribbean, namely Cuba and Venezuela for now. So let us not get caught up in this thing. I'm not sure what the administrators and the prime servants are doing, because they don't tell us anything. As a matter of fact, you know, they only come out and tell us things after the fact. But let us be wise, people, you know. So make sure you start looking at a little food one side. Don't wait till it get out of hand and the prices go up. As best you can, start putting a little thing one side, little water, little food, non-perishables and stuff. And, you know, again, I can't stress it enough. Plant your little food in the backyard. Well, Emmanuel, I live in a building with bare concrete. Get some barrels. You can check Carter's for that. Check Carter's and go and see the brothers in Carter's that doing a lot of good work, and see if you can get them to cut you a few barrels, man. And, you know, fill your barrels. Like I said, you're growing herbs. You cut them when they're standing up. You cut them straight down the middle. You got two halves. You're growing herbs. You're growing root food like yams, sweet potato, whatever. You cut it standing up. You cut it going across horizontal. So vertical and horizontal depend on the crop you're growing, and you get more depth. You can actually grow potatoes, you know. And even if you got a concrete yard, put the mold in the barrels, man, and make it happen. Let me start making things organized. As far as the bank and the money, that's going to be a tricky scenario, people. I know they encourage Black people to save money, but this is investment time. If you can't find an investment to put your money in and trust the people you invest in your money with, I don't know what to tell you. You might want to start buying metals, precious metals, all that bank saving thing. That I don't know. Right now, they say the value of the money in Russia is dropping. So people who had all that money in the bank before the missiles were, for example, imagine you was a millionaire in Russia prior to the shots firing, and shots started firing, and all of a sudden the millions you have are now worth a couple $100,000. That might be a little sting. And the more this thing going, imagine if it drop a little lower. So I'm saying the value of the money changes overnight. They don't even tell you. They just do it. And allegedly, you don't have nothing to say because, like Steve said, the bank is a scam. We already know this for sure. But we can't keep saying these things. That's why my thing is, let me find things to do. A lot of us know the problem. We discuss the problem. I in chats right now. Look, man, I embarrassed. My Telegram chat has 26,000 new messages. 26,000. How? So the amount of information that's repeated in different chats, it's the same information. And let us not regurgitate this information, focusing on these problems. Let us find ways to focus on the solutions and how we're going to build each other. Let's regurgitate solutions. Regurgitate solutions. I could give you right now an investment plan right now that starts with, let's say, for each individual, whether $100 or $500, that can guarantee you in 1 year, you can generate and turn that $100 into 40 grand. Well, actually 36, because you got to give you 10% towards the organization. So in 1 year, you could turn that into $36,000. I can give you that plan right now, verbatim, off the top of my mind, and speak that like it's a presentation. Nothing. That's nothing. As a matter of fact, I want to give that in our group meeting. which is supposed to be tomorrow night. For those who know what I mean, the Fade Initiative. And you got to set the time though. I got to finalize that, but you most likely see the message come up tomorrow morning more often than not. So I'll mention that in that particular group and that strategy. This isn't the time to be saving nothing. This is the time to be strategizing. We ain't lamenting. We ain't going over the problems. We're dealing with the information to help us recognize what it is so we can find solutions. It's solution time. So that's what we're dealing with. I heard from a brother earlier talking about the registration of certain documents and whatnot, and I applaud that. But again, family, we don't need permission from nobody, whether the institution, the banks, and whatnot. There's protocols and rule of law that we are not always privileged to hear and to understand. But in this time, knowledge, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. It's because we lack knowledge that is the problem. So at this time in the game, get informed and get informed, man. Get informed and get informed. That's the bottom line. So price is going up already. 2 grams of soap powder went from $7.99 to $9.69. Check back at Saturday. It is now $12.55. Wow, this is crazy. You for real, sis? Don't got the value, but the value of the barber is sets. Well, the cousin of the value is inflation. So you got to understand inflation working hand in hand with this situation. Stop piling food and water. I know what's gonna happen. We gonna wait to the last minute and we gonna rush. We gonna rush. What do you call it? Price Smart, and we gonna rush. What's the next place there? Cost You Less, and we gonna be buying up these things in quantities, and then there be none there, and then there be videos of people outside fighting for toilet paper and that kind of madness. Imagine they made a bunch of fuss for Corona, a cold, the common cold that 99.9% of the people or 99.8% of the people are guaranteed to survive. Guaranteed to survive. They made that into a big thing. No one did their homework. Everybody panicked. Okay. What you think about a war where these people want to deliberately manipulate, make it seem like a war while killing innocent people, which is the funniest thing. The people who conducting the war don't ever, they be in a room somewhere safe and sound, when the innocent people in the byways and the highways be the ones getting slaughtered. War does not determine who wins. It does what? It determines who is left. Get that? War does not determine who wins. It only determines who is left. Let us get this thing rolling, family. The other thing I wanted to touch on here was, yes, the children. Our children have gone through so much trauma, and the trauma in the last 2 years are far greater than we can imagine. And here we are now, on top of that, with news flash going on the news and the media about war and rumors of war. Family, do me a favor, do us all a favor, and try to enlighten your children as best you can as to the reality of what's going on, and not have them more fearful, adding more fear to the fear that they're already experiencing. The youths in this cycle generation are going to be some trouble youths, and trouble youths will beget all kinds of trouble and will be easily to manipulate, especially based on fear. And that is why they're pushing the fear agenda. I mean, children watching their parents become so fearful that they too don't have a clue what to do. Steve said, turn off the TV. Well, Steve, I ain't gonna lie, the TV ain't even the problem. You see the WhatsApp, social media, IG. Most parents now, and I shouldn't say most parents, because I don't have statistics on this, but I've seen cases where I see, parents sit there for hours and just scroll and scroll and scroll, and they're listening to different things coming on. And guess what? Children listening too. Children want to feel included. So they come and nestle up next to you like they're cuddling, but the truth is they ain't really cuddling. Mommy hug, and all that. No, they want to see what you're doing. And you ain't studying it because you in the virtual world, right? You up in the cloud. Your head in the cloud. Your head is in the cloud. So you ain't realizing that you lose in touch with reality. And the children, being sucked into this whole fear world. And that's going to change their genetic makeup. When the children start functioning that they cold and callous and have no feeling, no empathy, we want to know why. Is the war the fifth variant of COVID-19? I like that one. I like that one. Bishop, I like that one. Nail on the head, man. Rhonda said this crossed my thoughts today. Yeah, the psychology with the children right now is deep, man. It deep. But what we have to realize, like I said, is nurturing. This is the time for nurturing. Let us not keep regurgitating the information over and over. And don't even, right now, I guarantee if I go around my brethren and sit down, nothing I really share is going to surprise them because them in tune as well. They paying attention as well. They on their square. So unless I have something that's pertinent and new and different that they may not have heard about us yet, then I'll share the information. But apart from that, we ain't repeating the problems going over and over. We're looking at solutions of how we can do. By the way, big up to RPM, Bonga Lights and the crew. I see you planting some stuff on the ground. I see the food going in. I see the fruit trees going in. I see things happening. And that's why talking about Bonga Lights. You see what I'm saying? You got a plot there, you got a plot here. The sister got a plot there. I met some youths yesterday. I won't even say where. They got a plot there. And I'm like, yo, loving it. That's what we're talking about. Because we ain't putting all the eggs in a one basket. We smarter than that. But we definitely doing things. And this is the time, like I said, to generate. I mean, come on, family. 50,000 Barbadians. That in the numbers. Everybody ain't went on a vote. That's a whole lot of people. People always talking about, yeah, I see you in the street. Yeah, I support you, bro. Keep up the good work. On the real, I don't want to hear that. Don't be telling me don't keep up no good work. I ain't want to hear that. Don't want to hear this accolade thing. I don't care nothing about that. Just do the work, man. Do the work. Or you see what it said? Many hands make work light. I don't want the work to be light. I want the light to work. So many hands make the light work. You see what I'm saying? Study that. We don't want work to be light. We don't want work to be light. So we just don't want hands. We want the light to work. Y'all pick sense from nonsense, man. Y'all pick it, man. I ain't spoon feeding no more. I can't even tell a lie. I was reasoning with my elder the other day about this thing, I ain't spoon feeding. You had to come with a plate ready to roll, or you gonna have to pick a number and join the queue. But we can't. This and that sort of time. The children lives at stake. Or elder. A lot of us got parents. I know another friend of mine, the brethren, right now, his parents right now, she going through Alzheimer's. The things I see this brother got to deal with, he should go deal with this like this. We're supposed to got resources and things in place, but guess what? We don't have that. I got about 5 or 6 of my closest friends and their family, their parents got early on stage dementia or early onset. I don't know the medical term, but it's the early stage of dementia. And if they acting that way now, and this is the early stage, I'm telling myself, well, wait. But I remember when I used to visit the nursing homes and check in on the elderly and sit down and talk to them and stuff. I remember seeing, as a matter of fact, I remember seeing elderly or elders in these nursing homes. And big up to the Ward family, by the way. I got to definitely say that in St. Lucie, without question. I give thanks for the elder and the knowledge he shared with me. May he rise in power as well. But having the experience of seeing certain things, at first I used to wonder, how come some of the elders behaving like that? They all belligerent, aggressive, angry. They always got some sort of, they cussing and carry on. I was like, damn, boy. And they got some elders down there that cool and calm and real pleasant, family come by and stuff. And I get to asking the question, how comes some of the elders are behaving like, how come some function one way and some don't function that way? And I was trying to figure out what is the difference. Then I got to find out about this thing called dementia. And, people go through stuff and things that they would have done in their life, they sometimes relive and they be spazzing out. And I tell myself, you know what? It's something called a karma bank. Speaking of bank. And if you don't deposit good funds, right, you ain't getting no dividends back. Because what comes back is debt that you got to pay, and you pay for it in this time. Not the next. Judgment ain't coming in the next. It's coming in this one. So that's why you got to be mindful of what we do and how we do things, because you don't get away, I'm not saying that as a judgment on anybody's parent who's going through dementia. I'm saying it teaches us something as people to be more patient, more loving, more understanding, more compassionate, more empathetic towards our fellow brothers and sisters. Yes, we could condemn, we could scream, yell, and whatnot. Yes, I could get here and talk with the PM and what she doing wrong and whatnot. That ain't really my concern. I ain't going front because God said, I'm a harden Pharaoh's heart. Maybe Pharaoh wouldn't harden his heart. Maybe he, as a matter of fact, I suspect the mere fact that God said he was going to harden Pharaoh's heart. Don't worry, Moses. I can tell him, you go and tell him to let my people go, but I'm going to harden his heart. I was saying to myself, you know what, though? The only reason why God would have to harden Pharaoh's heart because Pharaoh would have told him, go ahead. I'm going to go along, man. I ain't checking for y'all right now. You're too busy building pyramids and stuff. I ain't got the time for y'all. But no, God said he want to prove a point, so he going to harden his heart. So I suspect, and I ain't never heard a pastor preach this in no church, I suspect strongly that Pharaoh was dealt a raw deal. Why? Because somebody had to be dealt that hand. Just like Judas, according to the Christians that betrayed Christ. But had Judas not betrayed Christ, he wouldn't have been, according to the story, sacrificed for the love of the people in order to save them from their sins in hell, in order to redeem them from the pits of hell and allow them passage into this place they call heaven. And note the language I'm speaking and how I'm speaking. You see what I'm saying? I'm not understand what I'm saying, family. Somebody had to be Judas. Because if not for Judas, there would be no resurrection Sunday. There would be no atonement for sins. Christ wouldn't pay atonement for sins. It wouldn't happen that way. So somebody had to be that. Somebody had to be Pharaoh. And if our prime servant is the one that the universe, God, chose to harden her heart to make her do the things she's doing that might be, different to what we agree based on our perspective. Well, guess what? Her perspective is that she's doing the right thing. Who am I to judge that? Let her do her thing. Make sure that we doing our thing. So that's the position we in, man. We in, all this, all day, every day. We in group chats, just debate. And let me say this here too. I find a lot of these chats to just recite the problems over and over from morning to night. I tell myself, a lot of these people got jobs here. Their job is to keep you busy doing nothing. Just talk about the same problems over and over. And the funny part, have the audacity to debate each other about the problem based on perspective. And I tell myself, on the real, right? That's a clever strategy, man. You got to be able to spot these agent provocateurs, man, that come amongst us and deliberately distract you, take your whole energy off for the day, got you debating about things about some white woman who painted herself black and allow people to piss on her to prove a point about some people being disadvantaged in some other country. You crazy? Y'all believe that? Come on, man. Y'all believe anything. Y'all believe that. She could have painted herself red. She could have left herself white. As a matter of fact, they say that she was trying to bring awareness. Well, black people get killed all day long over the place. About awareness. You want to make awareness? Let people see somebody pissing on a white woman. You want to bring awareness? The world will be in. Look, Mike Vick, this guy was into professional sports in America. I think he was fighting dogs. White folks love their dogs. They made an example out this man for fighting dogs. Meanwhile, white people go to Africa and kill all kind of giraffe, deer, all kind of stuff just to chop their heads off and put it on their wall. And then nobody got a problem with that. This man was merely fighting dogs. Oh, that is cruelty to animals. How dare you do that? Goodness, Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ. Man, we ain't getting this thing, man. So folks debating whether or not the white woman was being racist or not being racist. I don't really care whether she was or wasn't. All I'm saying is that why she didn't, if she want to prove a point, what better way to prove a point and bring awareness than let people see somebody pissing on a white woman? Because black women been pissed on for centuries. Get the fuck out of, pardon me, get out of here with that foolishness, man. We got to stop this mindset, this mentality that, all is love. All is not love, family. All is not love, man. Is he or here just by virtue of our here alone? And no, there's no other being on this planet that has hair like Cora's. None. There's none that has skin like Cora's. None. Don't tell me that don't mean something, man. All we is one. That's the devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. We all God's children. Yeah, probably that's true. The question is, which God you referring to? But I ain't getting that conversation. That's a Sunday school topic. But family, on the real, man, we got to stop this. We got to stop this casual debating each other about things we don't even understand, man. Let us more focus on solution based, and ideas to move our nation forward. Because believe you me, it's all we got is us. As a matter of fact, did y'all know that I think there's 4 or 5 bunkers in Barbados that were built? Bunkers, underground facilities to sustain life. I don't know for how long. But anyhow, I suppose we could just huddle up in a room somewhere in the bathroom or something and the storm will pass. Perhaps that's our mindset. Mike Vick was a quarterback, Atlanta Falcons at the time. He was fighting dogs. They took his millions and won, nigga. That's what that was, nigga. You nigga. Put you back in your kennel, nigga. That's the mindset. Yet they kill animals, slaughter them for fun, chop their heads off and all kind of nonsense. I got a picture. I should post it, you know. I ain't gonna come to me now as far as where I have that. That's probably on my tablet. I don't have it. Where this is a white boy standing next to a giraffe head that's just been severed and he holding on to it. A severed giraffe head. I'm like, you know, that's what they're teaching their children. What are we teaching our children? How to play Roblox and watch SpongeBob and Nickelodeon. Man, those bunkers are not for the poor. Boy, Steve, you ain't easy, brother. I mean, that's a fact, Bridget. We as a Bridget, look, family. I all I'm saying, right, is that let me get serious about this thing. We've been playing politics for too long. PS4 and PS5, right? Yeah. And that's what's going on, man. Youth's going back to school now, and the schools ain't even ready. I mean, I just be looking at it like they going through the motions, family. All this is just theatrics. They don't have a clue what they're doing. None of them have a clue what they're doing. But we're going through the motions, man. Anyhow, they said the light bill going up, family, again. So all I'm going to tell you is brace yourself, which means that bus fare going up again. But notice they're offering you a crop over. It's like it's prophet. I just feel like I'd be sitting here prophesying, or it's like I'd be saying stuff and then they'll go and do it. So we need to start saying certain things, family. Because I told you all last week they're going to give you crop over and a few tent events scattered about the island, right? And guess what? They announce it. You gain crop over, you can go and walk up, drink rum, and you know, before their morning and come out in the dark with your mask on, which is funny because nobody can complain about the mask now. People want to play mask and walk up, you know, and do things in the dark. Couldn't wait. Corona what? Barbados, man. Crop over is another distraction. Well, it's more than a distraction. It's a reward for those who comply. I will give y'all crop over. Yes, it will distract them and numb the pain for the last 2-3 years. People going to get on bad. And they're going to harness all that energy, and God help us from there. But guess what? 5 were wise and 5 were foolish according to the story. Find yourself in the company of wise people. Here is all I got to tell you. Is all I got to tell you, man. Find yourself in the company of wise ones. In the meantime, we got work to do. We got agriculture stuff to deal with. And, you know, find time to be a part of any agriculture initiative. And like I said, investment strategies. And I'm definitely going to put out one tomorrow, like I said, in the meeting. We're going to discuss that. And we probably discuss it when we come back on here after the fact. But home drum beat first. Because right now, like I'm telling you, don't wait till the banks come at you first. Make sure you go at them. You got money in the bank, but don't save it, invest it. I mean, it's sitting there anyhow doing nothing. Find a group you can trust, not the what do you call it? The flower turn. I ain't really sure what it's called, but it's an investment group with legitimate investments and enough transparency where you can see that this thing working. And it's possible because they do it all the time. All the time. It's us who be playing around and act like we ain't know what's going on, man. We got to develop our trade relationship with the other Caribbean islands because guess what? All that food ain't coming from North America like before. You think North America be sending food down here knowing that food about to come scarce? You crazy? Caribbean? Can't wait to get rid of the Caribbean. And folks want to come down here. You see many people moving to the Caribbean now from Europe, Canada, England, America. Every you turn, you see white folks buying land and building houses. Me personally, I see it a lot. They buying land and building houses. Land that we can't afford. It is called gentrification. What's the word? What's the word? ISIS, post that, please, with a definition for me. It is called gentrification. It is simple as that, you know. It might sound strange, but gentrification. Let us find out exactly what this is, man. They say is the process whereby the character of a poor urban area is changed by wealthier people moving in, improving housing, and attracting new businesses, typically displacing current inhabitants in the process. Displacing current inhabitants in the process. We ain't getting it, but we gonna get it one way or another. Remember that. One way or another. Keep black people poor while taking all their land. Yeah, well, Steve, here's the deal though. To whom much is given, much is required. The best part is some of us have ideas, some of us have vision, a lot of us have connections, whether we work in government, outside government, whatever. It's a matter of doing things and making things happen. Beijing's ain't slow, Curtis. I used to think so. I met a lot of good people on this same very platform that are from Barbados, that are Barbadians by birth. And trust when I tell you, brother man, they're far from slow. They keep me on my toes, man. Y'all keep me on my toes. Trust me. So if you know, again, show me your company and tell you, show me your friends and tell you who you are. My grandmother, Aunt Rose, man, always said that. Show me your company and tell you who you be. For real. So we working with those who working with us, you know, like minds, man. Like minds, man. You know, they say that what they say, two heads better than one. It's all nonsense they talk about two heads being better than one. I don't have two heads on my shoulder, but I know that coming together collectively on a vision, having a vision, sharing a vision, and working collectively on it faithfully and sincerely, we will accomplish it. And we got a few things already lined up, and that's what we're going to be discussing moving forward. So that's what we're dealing with, man. Redlining. Yep. But I find it hard to find some people who is willing to stand up. Well, Steve, I can tell you the truth. You ain't got to find the people who willing to stand up. Stand up and trust that who gonna stand, gonna show up. You're not standing up based on somebody else standing. You got to do what the Spirit bid you to do. You know, when we've been doing this over a decade, a lot of folks kept telling us, "Y'all crazy. Y'all better be careful this, that, and 34." And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? You think that's going to get up one day and catapult myself in this position because I fell off a truck and bumped my head? My confidence comes from knowing the vocative I working with, whether I see a man to my right or my left, and why we out here doing this work. Greater are those with us than those with them. Here, connect yourself with your ancestral lineage. The Bible says, honor your fathers and your mothers. That's not singular, that's plural. It means that everyone that came before me is here right now. Right now. Not now, but right now. I'm not alone. So you ain't got to look for people, Steve, who's standing up. Know that all that came before you stood firm. That's why you have the strength to stand firm. So hold firm and keep the faith. Don't look for nobody else. Trust me. You put your trust in man. Child, boy, look, don't even let me start you with that one, boy. Put not thy trust in man, because you be surprised, but you got to overstand that man is just what Buggy said. Big up to Buggy, by the way. A man is just a man. Well, I put my faith in Haile Selassie the First, the power of the Trinity. That took me, a simple being that was lost, man, and now I'm found. I was blind, but believe you me, now I see clearly, infinitely, exponentially, immaculately, and accurately. You know what I mean? So I give thanks, man. That's all. You see me smiling. I might crack a smile, but like I said, ain't nothing funny here. That's me processing. That's me processing, man. Like, okay, all right. You think it's a game. All right, no problem. No problem. No problem. Gentrification comes from gentry, old French word, generic meaning nobility, those whites replacing the black middle class. You see that middle class thing? We discussed that last week here. Middle class is the hesitant ones. What do they call it? Hesitancy. Now you see, you can help others to see. Well, that's way. Well, yes, you can help others. Well, technically, what we do is we leave a path, man. That's all. We leave a path because I've realized too, and I agree with you to some extent, Brother Curtis. Truth is, right? You can't make nobody see. I've tried for a while. All I could do is give sight to the blind, give hearing to the deaf, and speech to the dumb. But the reality is this: the individual have to want it first. And I've learned that the hard way. Sometimes you might be giving your message. As a matter of fact, the Bible have a story where if you're given a message and they don't receive it, wipe the dust off your feet and keep moving. That's what they told Paul, the brother Paul. But I want to use these excerpts as information to describe the reality of what we're dealing with. I'm not getting religious because we don't know Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John is 4 people, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And the rest of the book by some man named Paul that used to be called Saul. That was a Philistine that turned Christian. So, I ain't getting into that. All I'm saying is that we got to be wise in this time. You see, and these guys wasn't the first set of guys that was wise that wrote stuff. There was writings way before they, as a matter of fact, they didn't even write original writings. They wrote what other people had allegedly witnessed and seen because none of them was, which is funny, by the way. Think about it. Everybody that saw this man called Jesus, everybody who was there with this man, including the 12 disciples, none of them wrote anything about him. People who came afterwards, and we don't even know how long after, wrote what they were told happened. Not what happened, what they were told happened. Now, you don't know how past the message just go anyhow. That in past the message is the same in any part of the world. Any part of the world. Past the message is past the message. If you ain't passing the message correctly, I ain't gonna tell you. If you pass it slightly different, I ain't gonna tell you. By the time it get where it going, family, it's not even a message anymore. It's a whole new book, according to what I heard. But my point is, let us use the knowledge that's applicable to this time to work accordingly. We ain't splitting hairs. That's why I tell people I ain't that type of ras to get here and talk bonfire up and Jesus and all that. Look, that conversation missed me with it. Let me focus on what we're going to do as a people and benefit the children, benefit the elders and the women, and your brother and your sister, because that's what's most important. We could debate all them things after the fact when we settle in, we serve, and we got ourselves a bit liberated and be comfortable. But while we behind enemy lines, we ain't got no time to be dividing ourselves with no doctrine. So if a man see Christian, he love that. Well, Jesus said love everybody, so you gotta love Rasta too. Let me roll. You understand? Can't be an issue. Can't be an issue, man. Let me just make this thing happen, family. But anyhow, I didn't want to carry on with a religious thing because, like I said, and we're not getting into that. Let me focus on solutions and move from there. The children right now is priority number 1. This love of money got people doing things that, the love of money. So as it start to get dread, things going to happen. We get frustrated. When their money in the home, husband come home, frustrated. The wife, she might be talking. You come in here drunk with your friend drinking. He vex, he flip. He come home, honey, with my food in there. She vex, she flip. Children at school all day long with masks on. Teacher stretch them because the work ain't really sinking in like before. Come home. When do you work at school? Stress, children flipping against their own parents, getting violent in some cases. So let me not recognize that these things ain't going on. They're going on. But let us be compassionate and find ways to help each other. that little extra phone call that you wouldn't normally make. Call a sister. Just call her, get a shout, see how you're doing. Just touching base, you know, and see what you could do, man. You could pick up a little extra can or two in supermarket if you could afford it. If you can't, maybe pick up one. Start a little food. They call it start a little food turn instead of a money turn. Start a little food turn. Everybody bring a little can this week, and them groceries go to a household. And next week you'll bring another can, and that groceries go to another household. And week after you would bring another can and give thanks to the sisters and the pine that doing this program. Right there by I don't know the name of the street, so I won't even call the name of the street. But the sisters, there's a sister up in the pine. She has an initiative. That's actually where I got that from. I've heard other people mention it before, but she's been doing this for a little while, and her see me going on very successful. So big up to all the churches. Even the churches supposed to be doing these kind of initiatives, little food drives. Every church in Barbados is supposed to go to garden, come church on a Sunday morning, stop wearing your dress, pocketbook, hat, and high heels. Put on a pair of dungarees, t-shirt, and pastor while you preaching in the field. Let the people work in the ground. Pull up some weeds, plant some seeds, put down some food for the church so that come harvest, you ain't got to get food from the farmer across town. The food is the same food the church growing, pastor, man. That's all they saying. All this pretty tight and all kind of Westcott and all kind of stuff. Let me get a different direction. Totally different. I ain't say you can't praise God, but let me praise God in the open air once. His son allowed church early before midday. Remember, you can't be preaching long in the midday sun. You understand? All that long service and long talk and meeting minutes and all that. Look, WhatsApp that in the church group. Save time, become efficient. Church bulletins, WhatsApp church group. Stop that talk, long talk. When the rush when the Sunday come, people won't get home. We come church this week. We wear old jeans and old sneakers. We can plant some sweet potatoes, some yam. We can bring the Rasta man if you want to plant some other things. You want a little advice. Plant food, pastor. Stop playing wrong. Unless you're working for the system and you got the people getting you tithe and offerings and you ain't offering nothing in return. In which case, family, all they can tell you is you might want to look for another church, because if your pastor ain't preparing you for the end time prophecy, he ain't a pastor. He got you wasting time on the pastor, you know, like cattle. Like cattle, faith without works is dead. I give thanks, brother. That's what I was thinking of, my you in tune. The faith without the works is dead. You in there preaching every Sunday morning. You preaching, you begging for time to preach, to come and preach the gospel of Christ. Jesus, 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 hallelujah. Catch myself there real quick. I don't want to be out here behaving unnaturally vulgar, because that ain't my thing. But on the real though, people, do more, do better. All these churches, I mean, nobody ain't got a little church garden. I see a church, right? As a matter of fact, you can pass there Sunday. And I tell you, I go and talk, I can pull this pastor one side, man. I can tell him again. Because I told him already, and I ain't seen the action I supposed to see. But I see big cars, enough big cars in the driveway. I talk big rides, you know. All right, so when I got a little money, clearly. But here we're going on. Invest in that, man. Buy some greenhouses, put that little money together, buy a couple of greenhouses, grow the tomatoes inside there, some food, something, so at least when you go to the market, that will save a little money, pastor. And that money they're saving, pastor, go into the tithe and offering. I just saying. Investment strategies, man. Stop saving money and pool it. Invest it. You want ideas? Get with the Faith Initiative. Get with Rastafari Progressive Movement, Bonga Lights, Lamamba, and you know they make this thing happen. You know it's so funny, man. Like, anyhow, I didn't want to say what I was just going to say. I didn't want to say that one. Could it be it was all so simple, right? It was all good just a week ago. It was all good just a week ago. Just a week ago, it was all good. No? Who knows? Who knows? Anyhow, what time is it? Minutes to 10. Sorry for the delay, family, and starting behind time. I was working on stuff and the software uploading so that it could run smooth. Although this particular platform doesn't have any transition as yet. StreamYard doesn't have any transitions from video to back to mainframe. So I suspect the new version when they come up will have it, right? StreamYard, hint, hint, a transition button so you could go from one to the next smoothly as opposed to just a chop. I'm just saying. But anyhow, they'll get it together. or maybe I could write this. If I had the knowledge on how to write C++, I could create this the way it's supposed to be in one. I ain't gonna tell you. Maybe it's time we just hook up with somebody who can. Let's create our own platforms, our own software. Because again, ain't nothing that we can do. I mean, just a vision. The ideas I have for this platform, I think to myself, these people making millions of dollars when they come off of this. I'm telling myself over here. The ideas I have to enhance this would carry this to the peak. It would be the best in its field. But guess what? I suppose it's okay to offer you a mediocrity because after all, they don't want you to do but so much anyhow. So we still got to recognize that there's parameters and rules. We need our own full stop. Just the bottom line. C++. Anybody want to write it? Holler at me, man. Let me see what can happen. I got some ideas for you. I heard this morning on the radio, BBC News, a young boy, 21 years, just wrote some software, Metaverse. Multi-millionaire overnight just for selling the idea. This is mad. And we talking about what? We ain't really ready. Because the opportunities out there, we too busy. Kadoomatin. Kadoom. The Kadoom. Kadoom, right? Kadoom. I said that a few months ago when he first brought it up. I think it was last year. Kadoom. The Kadoom meant. Remember that meant means mind. Doom is pretty self-explanatory. And Ka is the soul. Ka is the soul. Doom is pretty straightforward. And meant means mind. Y'all piece it together and figure out what they really mean when they tell you that it's Kadooman. Y'all really sit and figure out what they really mean, family. Matter of fact, I ain't even sticking up no more. What time is it? Been on here an hour? I'm out, man. The rain start coming down. You see? The rain coming. The rain falling, man. Man, ISIS, don't say that. Don't say that. I don't even know how true that is. I tried it. They tried it. They run out. Oh, wow. The church is not ready for that. See that right now? ISIS talking about. She said, was wearing a blue jeans and black shirt. Time it get around. Your jeans would be green and your shirt would be brown. Pass a message. You know I wear green right through too. You know that already, ISIS. But this lady here, Ashley Curtin, the twin, the mother of the twin. I'm really not sure what happened. I'm really not sure if that's the reality. Again, thanks, ISIS, for bringing this up. Condolences to the family. I don't even like using that word, to be honest. I deal with kinetic energy, so we send strength to the family because during these times, condolence, according to some people, or condolence, according to others. The reality is that the family need more strength during these times. The children need strength in coping with the reality of what has happened. I don't know the details, but more strength goes out to the family. So family, for a minute, we could always send some positive love and pure kinetic energy towards the family, and especially to the children. And, because the children who just feel it the most and feel it the hardest, that's who be feeling it the most and the hardest, family. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Politically incorrect, family. I want to give thanks to my council, the team putting in work behind the scenes. I mean, they outfitted me. You see, they outfitted me, man. They infitted me. They infitted me. The apparel, the software. I had posted some stuff earlier. I don't know if y'all would have seen it. Some stuff you're working on, dealing with as a matter of fact, How can we do this? Let me see if I could do this real quick. Just to give you a glimpse of what we've been working on behind the scenes, family. For those who came on late, you might not have seen it, but politically incorrect. I mean, making another step towards taking this thing to a whole different level. And yes, I definitely got to say thank you for the people that involved in that behind the scene. I can't even lie, all the way from Pakistan. I couldn't believe that, man. Like, yo, energy is energy, family. Just let things happen, man. Just all I can tell you is just give thanks, man. Just give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, man. The brothers say he's a builder. I saw that. I like 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 that. We builders too, brother. Compass and square all day, every day. We building. That's what it's about. Accurate and plumb. You see what I'm saying? So in all levels. So this platform that started with an old cell phone, 2 clothespins, and an ironing board. An ironing board. And not to mention the lamp with the shortage, so much so that I couldn't even touch the lamp. Otherwise, it'll shut right off. Had to just put it there and don't move, like hold your breath type thing. And now to be at the point where we looking at introducing animations and getting the technical stuff, in tune, and taking to again this bring it to a whole different professional presentation, because we got things we want to do on this platform. We saw the sister from Canada with her son, her 12-year-old son, by the way. The Prince, make sure that we bring forward the Prince so he could share his story one of these Sundays coming up in the month of March for sure, and let him do his thing as well. Imagine that, hand over the whole platform to a young man in a whole different country, all the way across the world. He up there in Canada right now. My point is that there are things that we can do. Let us do them. Let us do them. There's some folks among us. The brother Milton, by the way, shout out to Milton, who back in the hospital with the gallstones. There are people who going through it, gallstones. I know like 3 people right now who have gallstone issues, and vary from sizes. But I know 2 of them who have used a detox, especially one, and have dissolved them and passed them out. There was no need for surgery, and $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 for surgery. That is ridiculous. Let the food be the medicine. Know how to take it. So these things we want to get into too. Health. We're going to have a health platform on here. We ain't coming on talking about Ukraine every night. We ain't talking about no vac injection X every night. We ain't talking about the administrators and what they not doing every night. We already know. The question is, what are we doing to make it better? That's the only conversation. You see what I'm saying? Always ready to work. Give thanks, family. Yes, Isis. Isis says she loving it. Isis, you love it, Isis. You love it, Isis. Okay. I can't front though, man. I might give a sneak peek at another one in a minute. But for right now, as a matter of fact, I was going to ask y'all which one we should work with, but there's a few options. But we're gonna get into it, family. We're gonna get into it. Like I said, we started this together, and I think it's only right that we continue to grow together as well. Because again, this wouldn't happen if not for y'all. So we fine-tuning. So before we jump into this, where was my tune? I wanted to drop this here before we go. Sign positive right through again. I was looking for the tune. Niche, where it go? Yeah. For sure. Jah is always by your side. Jah is always by your side, family. Y'all already know. We get stronger and stronger. Stronger and stronger. Stronger and stronger. Yeah, putting things in place. So that's the next step, though. But yeah, we're going to get to it. It reach a point where, family, man, where you could just be like, yo, imagine that. Here we are, and
news tonight, the devastating toll of the coronavirus.
If not for the family.
The world's widest search for the coronavirus. Officials attempting to test everyone, all 11 million people in every neighborhood.
Tonight, our national death toll spiking to a new benchmark as the
Justice, we want it now. Now let me say this, say it too. If not for Corona, if not for the administration, namely the BLP, if not for all the things that they were doing and not doing, if not for all those things that was going on, family, the reality is we wouldn't be here right now. So the duality of life, you know, we give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks. And it's in the giving of thanks that we come together to ensure that we give it, we make a better way for our children and the elderly. You see elderly right now struggling. A lot of them passing away. I can't even say for no reason because, you know, a lot of them took the injection X. We don't know, family, but what we do know is that for those of us who chose not to be a part of the experiment, a lot of the weight's gonna fall on our shoulders. If what we're saying is absolute truth and folks are going to be ill and fall out, well, know that when that happened, according to what some of us might subscribe to wholeheartedly, let us continue to prepare ourselves. That's it. Let's prepare ourselves and get, according to my brethren, stronger.
I will.
Get in the car.
I can't move.
I've been waiting the whole time, man.
Yeah. Blackstar. No, say them don't know I'm if you driving at the black car. I'm gonna go to the gym there. But listen to you. Every day we get stronger. You can't fill me up with anger. We get stronger. Every day we get stronger. Can't catch me with no anger. We get stronger. Them know why me live longer. Stronger than how me was from yesterday. Them can't take the life what Jaja give to it. I do, them have a bag of things to say. Man still a stand firm, day by day. And every day me go down on my knees and chant up it. Oh, Jaja, can you guide me along my way? Keep me strong for my kids and my family. So help me the lights I get. Every day me get stronger. Them can't fill me up in anger. Me get stronger. Them know want me live longer. Stronger. Them can't fill me up in anger. Me get stronger. Them know want me live longer. Them things that them win, but them only lose. And me know them woulda love to put me on the news. Them want me chop like mangoes and drain me out like bag juice. The 30 hard nail for cleaning and the washroom. So never let the pressures of life get to you. Keep on pushing and keep on being you. But Jah is on your side, but Chargy. I know sometimes life can get hard. Yeah, we get stronger. You can't fill me up with anger. We get stronger. Every day we get stronger. Can't get me with no anger. We get stronger. Them know why me live longer. Stronger than how me was from yesterday. Them can't take the life what Jaja give to it. I do, them have a bag of things to say. Man still a stand firm, day by day. And every day me go down on my knees and chant up it. Oh, Jaja, can you guide me along my way? Keep me strong for my kids and my family. So help me the lights I get. Every day me get stronger. Them can't fill me up in anger. Me get stronger. Them know want me live longer. Stronger. Them can't fill me up in anger. Me get stronger. Them know want me live longer.
Yes, get stronger. That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about.
2,000 Americans.
Getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, family. That's what's up. So in the meantime and in between time, let us continue to grow. Let's continue to build each other, encourage each other, and what they said, to whom much is given, much is required. This is Ra'ayon. You don't know it. Wow. Oh, Tap family, I see you. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Got you, family. Got you, family. I see you, Isis. I put that in the pipeline always. All right, got you covered. All right, family. So we're going to hit the bricks. We're going to make it happen. Give thanks for the time that we shared. Energy, same way. And yeah, thanks, family. Make it happen. So in the meantime and in between time, it's all love. It's all love. This is crazy. Facebook doing some crazy stuff here, but I don't know. We're learning in the process. Keep that in mind, right? Anyhow, have a peaceful night. We're going to link up again on Wednesday. And like I said, for those who connected with the Fade, know that by tomorrow morning, you should have that. In the meantime, for those who may not be aware, who joined us for the first time, remember that Politically Incorrect is on live Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, supposedly at 8 o'clock. We're working towards that always, but sometimes different things happen, little glitches, technical stuff that may push it a little bit beyond. But for the most part, it's 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If you want to contact us, politically.n.correct246@gmail.com is our email address. And if you feel the need to contribute to the program, the PayPal account is eBarelia@gmail.com. Also, the WhatsApp group, the number is 838-8253, if I'm not mistaken. That's the number? I think that's the number. 838-8253. I think that's it. Anyhow, someone on there will always navigate you and let you know what's what. One of the admins, according to that, one of the generals, man, will let you know what time it is, man. So anyhow, y'all have again peaceful night, and love is love, right? Keep that in mind. Isis, give thanks again. Peace to you too, Rhonda. Blessed love. Hotep, Rastafari. Salam alaikum, family. This is what it's all about. It's about the love and about the energy, the Rastafari liberty. Right, true, right? So Haile Selassie first, Empress Wazira Menin. It's the perfect balance, family. And that's it. One, we out. Love is love. See you all on Wednesday.